Hello, I'm here today with the Digitakt 2, which honestly in my setup has definitely been overshadowed by the Analog Rhythm Mark II, but the D2 certainly has a lot of other things that the Analog Rhythm does not offer. It definitely makes for a much more flexible controller. Of course, you could assign any of these channels to either MIDI or audio. So that's a very nice plus, and of course the very expansive mixer, there's 5 pages to this mixer, and the Analog Rhythm Mark II doesn't have a mixer, which I think is something that's really missing from the unit for sure. I've been using the Digitakt mainly as like a one-shot techno drum machine rather than something that creates an entire track. I find that using it as a drum machine is kind of where it shines brightest. I've also been introducing longer samples to sort of throw yourself into a specific mood that you'd like to be in, or maybe to inspire a new mood. You could also use those longer samples in a completely different way, like this one, for example. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with that, but you could essentially change the start and end length to create something completely different, pitch it as well. I also find that the comb filter is really interesting, and it kind of takes me into directions that I otherwise would not have gone into with any of my other gear. There's so many things, so many different ways to use the Digitakt, and we'll be exploring all the different ways I've been using it in this video. And if you feel like this video or any of my other Digitakt or Elektron related videos is the thing that sort of pushes you over the edge to purchase the Digitakt 2, consider using the affiliate link in the description of this video. That would be a great way of supporting this channel. And if you'd like to see the entire unedited from A to B version of this video, that's available over on my Patreon, which is also linked in the description, along with a bunch of other exclusive stuff. Okay, so we are on a mission. Let us do this. I have my samples loaded up here. I rarely use even 8 tracks, so to use all 16 tracks would be insane for me. I'm gonna throw down some kick just to start with. And of course, this is one of my videos. I always like to get into like the nitty gritty within the sequencer, like to really polish your parts, especially with accents. Like velocity is a big thing with grooves. So this note, I'm gonna pull it down. I also love to play with trig conditions, so I'm going to add one of those right here on this specific note, step 16, and I'm going to turn this into a 1 out of 2 probability, so it'll play the second of 2 times. Oh, I just noticed that the comb filter is on here, so yeah, let's play with that. I'm going to add some overdrive to this overall kick as well, and on this specific note again, step 16, delay. I'm already hearing like some sort of percussion over top of this. I actually have a bunch of longer samples that we could choose from. And in this folder down here, these are all from my latest sample pack, Project 909. So all the sounds are 909 sounds. And there's like an unlimited amount of basically ideas or like feels to throw you into the techno genre. Like these hi-hats could be cool, so let's throw those into here. Make sure that the amp is fully open. And I'm just gonna throw it onto beat 1, see what happens. We might as well continue with this comb filter vibe, so let's go ahead and do that. Throw this to comb filter. So this could be cool to have some sort of odd time to have the sequencer of this particular voice be different than the rest of the sequencer. So let's go to page and function yes. So on this particular track, let's make it 5/16 notes. What I could do is just add a note on the first step and make it reset every 128 steps. So it's truly like an odd time. Let's restart it. We could do a little sequencer trick here as well. So on this first one, I want this to play the first of every second time. I'm going to add another one here. I want this to play the second of each time, but I'm going to micro time it so it's basically on this step. And then I'm going to change the comb filter on each of these. Add some delay here. And to add some further modulation to this, the Digitakt 2 has 3 LFOs. Once again, I want to play around with that comb filter and see how we could change it as the group progresses. We'll try the low pass filter, or the comb frequency as well. Another thing that's interesting here is the mode. So if we want it to be free and just constantly changing, that's cool. We could of course set this to random. Nice. And so now we're getting like an atonal sort of melody out of this, which is kind of interesting. Let's see what happens here if we add a second LFO. That changes the depth of LFO1. Yeah. I'm also going to randomize the second LFO, see what happens there. This thing here, that whoa, 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 that's kind of cool, but I'm going to maybe throw a filter on there. Once again, I'm going to play with the sample start time, and I'm going to try and catch that whoa, whoa. Okay, and then what if that fits? It does. It does fit. So wait, what if we did this? Every time I work with the Digitakt, this is what happens. It's amazing. There's always some kind of magic. Just to get this sort of atonal melody out of the way, there's a second filter page. So we have the comb filter, and then after that we can put a high pass onto that. So it's not in the way of everything else, of that bass especially. These hi-hats are cool. It might be cool to add another set of up hi-hats on the upbeats like this. Just to have them there. We could of course pan these as well, so the hi-hats from my sample pack, we'll throw those to the right, and then these hi-hats, we'll put those on the left. Something I'd like to try actually for a second, going back to machine and changing this bass filter to a comb filter. Let's see what happens. It might actually be cool to add some sort of rim thing over top of this. Let me actually find something. It's kind of cool with the hi-hats. I'm feeling ambitious to continue with this 5-note odd time idea. So I'm actually going to double that with some other sound that's going to react differently to a comb filter. A short bass like this. Once again, function page, it's separated from the rest of the tracks. So we could change this to, again, to a 5-step pattern. We could either put it on the same beat, or we could put it like a beat after. How will this bass note react to a comb filter? Let's see. I don't want to turn it into the same texture as this. I want it to be different. If we pull the attack off of that filter to get the initial sound of the bass and then maybe get a little bit more extreme with the filter itself. Oh my God. I mean, it's really cool actually. Maybe change the length to 10 steps. As opposed to 5. I wanted to have that sort of bouncy techno flavor. What we could do again is, just like before, I could add another step here. So these are playing on the same note, but I'm going to change the trigger of the first one to play the first of the second time. This one to play the second of second time. And I'll change something about this one. That's cool. And I'll add some delay onto this note here. I'm really happy with these results. So just to reiterate, it's actually quite simple what I've done here. So I just have one of my own samples. This is a longer sample, which is also at 140 BPM, right? So it just fits into the pattern right away. These two alone give like a very 909-y sort of vibe. Kick hi-hat, and then comb filter on these two. So this is kind of like the melody, this is the bass. And And so that is how I've been using the Digitakt 2. And by the way, if you're into creating this sort of music or maybe something similar to it, and you're looking for a way to officially distribute it online to all major streaming platforms, consider going with DistroKid. Here's a few reasons why they're great. So first off, why choose DistroKid? They are hands down the most affordable music distribution platform in the game. We're talking like just over 20 bucks a year affordable to release unlimited music. And by the way, on top of that, I also have a discount for you linked in the description of this video. You collect 100% of your streaming royalties with DistroKid, another huge plus, and they're designed specifically for independent artists and producers. How, you may ask? Well, here's a list of tools that they offer that will help you with at least some of the heavy lifting when it comes to promoting your own music independently. For example, there's Hyperfollow, which is a free landing page that I've personally been using for years now across all of my social media. It's similar to a Linktree type of situation where you can lead people to specific pages or maybe different social medias. You can post video content, maybe a link to your latest single, and you can create an unlimited amount of landing pages at no extra cost. DistroKid also offers promo cards, another free tool that you could use to promote your music on social media. So many other features, and again, just over $20 a year. To me, it's a no-brainer if you're looking for a music distributor. Well, now you know where to go. Sign up using the discount linked in the description of this video.